morning, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your weekly chart edition for the financial markets for this Sunday, January 4th, 2025. There is one report due out on Monday morning at 9 o'clock, and it's the ISM Manufacturing Index. Analysts expect it at 48.3 versus the prior month's 48.2. Then, as for the Santa Claus trade and what the Dow will do, is it going to be up, down, sideways? I give a chart as to all the different market analytical ideas on the January effect, and it's going to be in my full research, which brings me to remind one and all that I am doing a sale now, 40% off all my research and my courses. It lasts the sale just a matter of days here. So if you're interested, this is the time to jump on it, and I'll talk about it at the end of this video. All right. So in the S&P, as you can see, if the market were to finish here for the week, it was up 0.12%, a new all-time high on a closing basis. And that's for obviously the monthly charts. When we come to the weekly chart, the market was actually down 1.13%. As of Friday. You can see how it backed off through there. And that's interesting in itself. When we take a look at what the S&P did for the week, it was down 1.13. So if it's going to have the strong January effect, it has one shot at doing it, and it's got to get itself up and running very hard on Monday. We'll see if that is, in fact, going to be the case. Now, we know that the market's got to deal with the impact as to what's going on in Venezuela. And what's going on there will be looked at positive and negative. Number one, did we have the right to go in and capture a leader? That's going to be debated. China, of course, is going to look at this very, very much in a positive manner for them. If Trump can do this, well, they'll look at Taiwan. It doesn't mean they're going to go in and attack them, but they'll look at it. They'll certainly say they have the rights to the Straits of Taiwan and all those other things in the China seas that they are talking about. So for China, this is a big piece. I don't understand the president, our president, getting behind Delcy Rodriguez. Number one, she's anti-Trump. Number two, as I understand it, she's in Russia right now. And she is saying she wanted proof of life, that we didn't have the rights to do all this. And yet the president got behind her that she's the legit part. Is she? If the elections were such a fraud, and that's what's being said, isn't she part of that? So there's much to go on about it, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to look at the action, and right now you can just visually see the market's got a pattern of higher highs and higher lows. Higher lows, higher highs. In an uptrend, you'd have to take this number out to break it, 6720.25. Look on the left. You can see that right here when I depress these right now. So we'll see what that does for the market. All right. We then take a look at the different moving averages. We have the 18 right through here. We have the 100 and the 200 week moving average of closes. That is still bullish, and there's support all the way back at 67.53, about 150 points lower. When we look at the Bollinger Band, well, it's been the resistance point. It's been working that way for quite a while. When you get up on it, you back off typically, and that's what you've done. So if we rally again to the 7,000 level, that could be the resistance zone. We'll take a look at that. And when we look at the slow stochastics, well, they're up. They're an overbought area. They have not embedded. In fact, they don't even have anything more than none embedded at this point in time. So it's an overbought market that if it rallies, the 7,004 level, I think, would be a resistance point. When we come to the Dow Jones, a little different story. On a weekly basis, are we embedding? Well, the answer is not here. Week one, though. This is week two. So you could easily get your embedded reading. And if the market's going to go for the Santa rally and come up, all it's got to do is get back to the upper Bollinger Band. The question is, does it have to do it in the first two trading days of the year, in the month of January, by the middle of the month? There's so many different variants of the January impact. The problem with all of them is none of them have 90% plus percentage winnings. They typically go into the 60, 70, 80% zone. It's nice to know that there's a percentage they go up, but the stock market also goes up 2 out of every 3 years, according to some analysts. When we look at the Nasdaq, obviously that's going back in time. When we take a look here, if we take a look at what we had, 25,870 and 25,9. So these numbers are really not accurate. Where they should be is like this. These were from a little bit ago. And I just noticed it as I'm doing this with you. So I'll just put this up. And this one would be up also. Just like I'm going to do it. I could hit another key, but because I'm recording, it'll create a problem for it. All right. It would make the recorder actually stop. All right. So you've got higher lows, higher highs in the market. You're still very much in an uptrend here. Supports 25,000 and the resistance, the upper Bollinger Band, which comes in here at 26,235. The Russell hanging on, overbought. The resistance very clear. It's the upper Bollinger Band. But none of these markets are under the key moving averages on a weekly basis. They're looking good. The DAX went for new highs. You can see that right here. So it's still in the bull camp. Support back at the 18-week average of closes. In the bond market, lower highs, lower lows. Now, I'm reading reports from some people that are predicting that it's going to be a terrible year for labor and that the Fed will be forced to do a series of cuts, in part as they see it, not me, as they see it. They believe that the AI is going to seriously impact just how work is done and where these other people going to get their jobs. This is going to be very important. We will find out if that is true or not. But I read stories about that over the weekend. When we look at the 10-year note, still very much in a bear pattern, which is still calling for higher rates, not lower. Same in the dollar index. While it's got a rally going, the question is, how's it going to be looked at now that we have gone in and captured Madero? I don't know. But if the market takes out 98.37 and it finished 97.79, that could be a picture here that if you then close over 98.43, puts you back into an uptrend in the dollar for a little bit. At the same time, the eurocurrency got hit this week, stepped back, fell about a 0.5 percentage point. The long-term trend is still up. It can afford the drip back into the 116.72 area. The Canadian dollar has gone literally from the lower Bollinger Band to the upper Bollinger Band and backing off in an overbought market after having a vertical price rise that really had one look back right here the week of November 21st. And then after that, it just kept making higher highs right into the Bollinger Band. In the Japanese yen, I'm still in the bear camp in the market, looking for ways to get short, and still believe that the market's going to test the Bank of Japan, their policies. I don't see myself getting away from that. In Bitcoin, the battle has been and continues to be on a weekly basis, the 100-week average of closes. And so far, the market is succeeding in not getting much under that by the end of each week, if it even hits it. We then look at the Brent versus WTI crude, and obviously the marketplace starting tonight when it opens, there'll be traders that go, oh, Venezuelan oil's coming to the market. First off, it will take a long time to get their infrastructure set back up. Number two, if we're sitting here taking over the country, I don't see how we're going to keep bans on whatever oil they can ship. So that part is bearish on the market. I think the President Trump, with whoever he elects to or puts in power, will make certain that the monies can come back to rebuild Venezuela's economy, which is in shatters. The problem he'll have is who's running the country. Is it the military? Is it going to be Rodriguez, Machado? There's so many names to throw out. I don't understand him getting behind Rodriguez. The Brent crude, as you can see, under pressure into the Bollinger Band. I would think that this action, as I just said, is going to add to the pressure there. OPEC is meeting today, by the way, so we'll find out what they're saying about all this and what it means to their decisions as coming forth. So that's something that I'll be looking for. In the heating oil, we've got the lower low, the higher high, and right back into the toilet. So in the middle of winter, and that's where we're at. We're early January here now. As we're doing this, early winter's probably, but not middle, but early. You're not getting any demand for that, so that's very important. So you put it all together, and you got to wonder what you have. And what I can tell you is, I've got our New Year research and course sale. So this is going to go on this week. Instead of coming in for 1 month of my futures video, you can see the different prices that we have. Here's the 3-month packages for you. And then you can come in for the complete futures, 1-year futures, the enhanced Bollinger Band, all the different courses that I have here. Here's the different packages for the spiders, ETFs. So it's a pretty simple way to do it. All you need to do is go to iraepstein.com under the word research. That's all. Just go to iraepstein.com. You'll see on the top research. You don't need a code. We've set up the computer so that when you go in, it's going to take 40 off. I want to remind everybody, I won't go over 40 off again. So this is typically the most you get from me at the beginning of the year. It's my kickoff numbers, and after that, when I do sales, they are not this percentage. So this is a very, very big percentage offer. So please take advantage. You can see the different packages that we have through here. 3-month futures, 1-month futures. You can get it both ways that you want. But I think if you give yourself the best bet by doing these 3 months, because you get to see winners, losers, and you finally say, something, maybe his style does make sense for me. It's just trading ideas, and you take it from there. In the meantime, I'm Ira. Hope you take advantage. There'll be a cursor, or rather an icon up here, and there always is one where you can click on right over here if you're watching us on YouTube to take advantage of this.